see me? Hello? Oh, it's a bit windy though. Whoa! Well then, now that you've found me, I can tell you that I've done my own spell so that I will be the size of a thumb. Isn't that good? Because today I'm going to be telling you the story of Thumbelina, one of my favourites. Are you ready, everybody? There once was an old woman who longed to have a little tiny child. So she went and met with an old wizard who gave her a special plant and a seed. Ooh, it's quite windy out here today. So, when the old lady got home, she found her special plant pot and put her seed into it. Then she gave it a rub and gave it a special kiss. And put it on the side until the next morning. But that night, the plant grew so quickly, it blossomed all the way up to the sky. And as the petals came out, they were bright red like a tulip. The next morning, when the woman came down, she couldn't believe her eyes, for there was a beautiful, tiny little girl sitting in the plant pot. She was only the size of a thumb, and so she called her Thumbelina. Thumbelina was very sweet, and she loved to sing to the old woman all day long. She would sit in her plant pot and float in the sink, singing, "Ah," and all sorts of songs. And at night time, she would gather up a beautiful pink petal and sit in it, cosy and cuddly. Ooh. Do you like sitting cosy and comfortably and all cuddly? I love it. Until one night, an ugly old mother toad jumped up to the window and looked in to see Thumbelina.
Ooh, she will make a lovely bride for my son,
said the mother toad, and she reached out her arm to grab Thumbelina as quickly as she could. "Ha ha ha ha," she said as she jumped out of the window and back into her pond, where she placed Thumbelina on a lily pad. The next morning, Thumbelina woke up to see all of the ugly toads staring at her. Oh, she began to cry. "I don't want to marry an ugly, slimy toad." Well, just then, the fishes popped their heads out of the water as they saw Thumbelina crying, and they felt very sorry for her. "Psst, little girl," they said. "Jump on our backs and we'll swim away as fast as we can." And she did. And as quick as a flash, they swam down the pond as fast as they could. Phew. Thumbelina was finally comfortable, but she still missed her mother. Oh dear, she began to worry if she was okay, when suddenly an ugly beetle took Thumbelina with its ugly hand and flew away as fast as it could, dropping her into a tree. She looked around to see lots of other ugly beetles looking at Thumbelina and pointing and laughing.
"Ha ha, you've only got 2 legs,
They said, very nastily. Oh! But as she began to cry, the beetles pushed her off the tree and she landed in a field. She was very lonely in the field and there wasn't much around to eat. She laid there for quite a long time until the winter came and the leaves fell from the trees and soon the snow started to fall down. Thumbelina's flowers that she once got cosy and comfortable in all died, and she was very, very cold. Oh, she began to shiver as the wind began to blow. Whoa! Until one day, a field mouse found her, and he scuttled along. Oh, hello, little girl. Why don't you come and live with me? Then you can be nice and warm and tell me stories all winter, and you can come and help me collect some berries. Oh, thank you, said Thumbelina. My name's Thumbelina. And off they went to live in the mouse's house all winter long. She told him stories and helped him collect berries, meanwhile keeping nice and warm and cosy again. One day, they went out to find some berries when Thumbelina saw a swallow on the ground with an injured wing. She helped him by putting some grass onto his wing and giving him a nice kiss. And with that, suddenly his wing began to flap again, and he said, "Oh, thank you, little girl. How could I ever repay you?" "Oh, don't be silly," she said. "I'll see you soon, Swallow. Goodbye." And soon it was springtime again. But the mouse had decided he wanted to bring home a friend to meet Thumbelina. It was a mole, and the mole wanted to marry her. "Oh, but I don't want to marry a mole," said Thumbelina, crying. Well, luckily for her, the swallow heard her crying and flew up to the window. "Psst, Thumbelina," he said. "Jump on my back and I'll fly away and save you." "Oh, good idea," she said, and she jumped on the swallow's back as they flew off together. Whoosh! Join in, everybody! Woohoo! And he placed her on a lovely pink soft flower petal once again where she belonged. "Thank you, Mr. Swallow," she said. As she turned around, she suddenly saw another tiny little person. And this time it was a man, and he had special fairy wings. It was a fairy prince. Well, at once they fell in love, and they were soon married. And as a special wedding gift, the prince gave Thumbelina her very own pair of fairy wings. That way she could fly off and see her mother again, as she did miss her. Every morning she flew off and saw her mother, giving her a kiss and a cuddle and telling her all the stories of all the things that her and the prince had got up to. And they were never lonely ever again. The end. Oh, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to my story. And I'll see you very, very soon. But first, I have to work out how I'm going to get off this flower, because I'm worried I'm going to get eaten by an ugly toad. Oh!